Hello, and welcome to Partnership Live, our monthly discussion with New Jersey leaders who are changing the paradigm in maternal child health. I'm Marie Vilsius-Talte, and I am joined here today by Geraldine Flach, who is the VP of Corporate Social Responsibility at Valley Bank. Hi, can I call you Jerry?
Please do.
Hello, Jerry. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks, and great to be with you here. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that I finally get to speak with you. I know
Thanks.
that you've spoken to some other people, but finally it is the two of us, right? So before we start, if you were to have another dream job, because I know this is your dream job, but if you had another dream job or a hidden talent that you'd like to share, that you'd like to do, go around the world playing the guitar, what would it be?
Mm. Well, my husband's the guitar player, so I can't compare with that.
Yeah.
And as you said, I really have the privilege of doing my dream job because my passion is really to advance a sustainable agenda and do that through community development. So I guess I'll go with the hidden talent and that I'm also a poet. And
Oh,
in
okay.
particular, I'm actually pretty good with haiku. And
Okay.
not that I'm a haiku master, but if there's like a contest where you have to synthesize something into 17 syllables, I could probably help with that.
Oh, maybe I'll ask you to give us a haiku later.
Well,
I love that. I love
yeah,
that you find out
maybe
all
I
the
could follow up with that. I don't know about on the
all the hidden
fly. That's a
talent.
little bit of pressure, but yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us. So, Jared, tell us, what do you do? What is your role at Valley Bank, and how does your work really impact the community?
Well, thank you. So I am a member of the Corporate Social Responsibility at the bank, as you mentioned, and I'm also the CRA or Community Reinvestment Act Regional Officer for New Jersey. And
That's a
so
mouthful.
it is. And in that role, and we'll talk a little, your questions allow me to talk a little bit more about that. But essentially, I'm really facilitating and advancing programs that further community development goals.
Mhm.
And one of the key ways that we do that is partnering with impactful nonprofits such as the Partnership for Maternal and Child Health, and really, everyone at the bank is a relationship banker. And
Mhm.
so I love to say that it's the focus on relationships and really fostering genuine connections, and most importantly, making a tangible impact that
Mhm.
drives meaningful change in our communities.
That is very, very important, because when you think about the bank and you think about maternal and child health or community health, people, I'm not sure why they don't put it together. And I know, on Partnership Live, we usually just speak about health and how we're impacting health, and maternal health is really public health. But maternal health, public health, and socioeconomic health really go hand in hand, right? So
Indeed.
how does Valley help to improve not only the financial health, but the generational health and financial literacy of our community?
Yes, well, thank you again for these great questions. And so, certainly, worries about finances is, I would say, multiple studies will show that that's a number one stressor and across pretty much all age groups. And so,
Mhm.
the way that, Valley responds to that is through financial empowerment programs, expanding financial capabilities in our communities, and more specifically, we're able then to leverage both internal expertise and the personal experiences that we all bring on that journey to
Mhm.
connect our community partners and community members with financial empowerment. And so a couple of the programs, and I know we've worked through your partnership to deliver them as well, but for example, Kickstart Healthy Financial Habits, which is really about the basics of setting goals, budgeting, and access to a banking relationship. So that's
Mhm.
often then offered through our retail bankers and
Mhm.
their expertise.
Mhm.
We're just launching this week in support of small businesses and entrepreneurs in Newark, our another language of capital program with Invest Newark, and community lending leads that. Again, making that connection in the community. And I think one of my favorites, Empowering Your Financial Future, working with organizations like Big Brothers Big Sisters, and then helping high school students to realize their future
Mhm.
and their role in the future. And then, of course, with the partnership again, we have the Journey to Homeownership program coming up for your employees on June 4th,
Yeah.
11:30 to 12:30 on the basics of home financing.
Mhm. It is also very important, especially working in the high schools. I know years and years ago, I don't want to date myself, they used to have home ec classes, and the kids these days, I don't want to say kids these days, but high schoolers, they're not sure how to write a check. Like everything is a debit card or Cash App, Venmo. They're not sure about how knowing about their finances is really going to impact their future. So that's such a great program. And I believe that once you give that program in the high schools, the kids go home and really impact the family. If
Yes.
they're not on that, financial literacy train, they get them on that train. So that's
And
such a great program.
and career literacy as well, a combination, the whole package.
Mhm, mhm. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So I know Valley does a lot of work in recruitment. So when we're talking
Mm.
about a diverse workforce, how do you recruit a diverse workforce? And, what advice do you give to someone who may be considering working at the bank in banking?
Sure. So among the bank's goals, and that we also work both inside the bank and externally, as well as this economic inclusion and workforce development.
Hmm.
And we do cultivate an inclusive culture of belonging. So we pay a lot of attention to culture where individuals feel valued and empowered, and our associate resource groups are instrumental in helping us progress that agenda. And so regarding recruitment, we do have partnerships with colleges, universities, our nonprofit partners, and so forth. And we try to focus on those that serve low and moderate income people, first
Hmm.
generation students, to expand our recruitment effort, and also to increase access to internship opportunities. And one includes my alma mater, William Patterson University. And then additionally, we also have something called the Rising Talent Program, which is really exciting and focuses on, just as you were saying, a career in banking, which is still a great career opportunity.
Hmm.
And the Rising Talent Program is designed to introduce new hires with no banking experience to Valley. And it provides retail training, banking foundational courses, and one-on-one mentoring as they learn their way to becoming a teller, and then growing their career at Valley. So that's been a real successful program. Last year we had 42 associates took
Oh,
part in
wow.
the program. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And is that during the school year, or is this something that you have like a summer program
oh
or?
no, that's ongoing. So the Rising
Oh,
Talent is
okay.
for adults, and that's an ongoing outside of our, recruitment. To your point, at schools and universities, we also have the Rising Talent, which is for adults who have had some work experience.
Mhm.
For example, a cash handling and retail. And I know for myself, I started in retail, so
Mhm.
I think there's definitely talent out there that we're trying to tap into. So
Mhm.
that's what that's about, sort of non-traditional talent, you could call it.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. So you
Mhm.
talk a lot about corporate responsibility, and I know you just
Yes.
shared a little bit more, but what does that mean, to you, and how do you define corporate responsibility in action?
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. The timing for this question is so perfect because we just released our 2023 CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility Report.
Mhm.
And it kicks off with the statement, success starts with our communities. And
True.
so really, and that's, by the way, on valley.com, on about valley.com, you can take a look at that report, and you're going to see there, and it highlights all the ways in which we serve and strengthen our communities, especially again through partnerships, the local nonprofits, making a conscious commitment, very intentional with our partners in the community, And, the other thing I want to point out is, yes, certainly we're talking about investing in our communities in a variety of ways to help strengthen community and economic development, but also investing our time. And so in our
Mhm.
corporate social responsibility report, you're going to see we did over 13,000 volunteer hours. And so
Wow.
for me as a community development professional, that's really about being present in the community. And that's really, as they say, where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to put your money where your mouth is. And I know specifically for the partnership, you have been such a dynamic support and such a dynamic partner to
As
not
well.
only our employees, but the people we serve. And it has always been, quite interesting. We just did something on what do we call that? The cyber hacking and how to keep your
Oh,
information.
fraud. That was a great presentation.
It was excellent. And of course, everyone is asking for more, especially now
Right,
that we're getting spam and, a lot of spam texts and
right.
emails and their information is not being safe. So yeah, we'll be doing that again.
And again, leveraging the knowledge we have as experts in fraud. You want your bank to be an expert in fraud,
Yes.
preventing it clearly.
Mhm.
So leveraging the expertise of that team to deliver
Mhm.
that content. So I look forward to helping you with that again or some more.
Thank you. We look
Mhm.
forward to it. So you said you had 13,000 hours
Mm.
of just corporate responsibility in action, which is really amazing. So how do you decide
Mhm.
what causes and which communities to support, especially, as you expand?
Thank you. This is such a great question, because I can weave in some of the CRA principles here. But
Mhm.
first of all, starting with the what, right? And so our CSR report does define
Mhm.
4 pillars of strategy that guide our actions: promoting affordable housing, stimulating community and economic development, inspiring innovation and entrepreneurship, and driving impactful local leadership. And again, take a look at that report to understand how that manifests. But then, so that's the what, the who. And so one of the things I love about CRA is and I know you appreciate this too, is it really is looking at this through an equity lens. And how do we revitalize the marginalized communities? And again, as you look at the different audiences that I've mentioned already, entrepreneurs, even artists, these are among the economic engines in our communities. And how do we, including low and moderate income people, and all of revitalization really depends on connecting with the community. So that's the who. Again, through this equity lens, and then the where. So, great question about expansion. So all banks are really going to work within their footprint, where they're located, and so I am talking a lot about New Jersey here. A little biased. That's my region. That's where we are. Even though I'm
Mhm.
originally from New York,
Oh, me
but
too.
I am. So that then the bank, we have, multiple states that we're in. You can read more about us in our CSR report and what's happening in those other regions. But again, so as we expand into new communities, then we bring these investments, these services, and our engagement to those communities. So that's the where. It's where the bank operates, and as that grows, that then we grow with the ways that we reach that community, and the how we've talked about, right? The
Mhm.
main focus is really expanding financial capabilities, and already this afternoon, we're hearing a lot of the different ways that we can do that. So yes, it's financial literacy, but it's so much more that we've been talking about this afternoon.
There's so many ways to connect. Do you find that more people are connecting now digitally and electronically, or do you find people are still actually coming to the bank themselves and asking for information?
Well, all of the above, and truthfully, we like to meet people where they are. And
Mhm.
so I was thinking today how so many of the programs we do with y'all are virtual, but that's
Mhm.
perfect because your partnership is and your network is so big that it makes sense to bring everybody together virtually. So,
Mhm.
but then some programs, for example, we've been working with reentry clients, and so,
Mhm.
and especially working with youth. A lot of those are better done in person,
Mhm.
where we can, it is certainly, I would say, fair to say, easier in person to build trust and build a relationship.
Right.
So combination.
Yeah. So you could still have that personal banker that calls and still knows your family. That definitely is really important, especially now that everything is, digital. You have so many banks that are like, oh, you don't have to go in, you don't have to pay this fee, just, text us or do it digitally. They don't have that community feel, and they're not invested in the community the way that you are.
We are. We are known for showing up. That is true. Thank
We
you.
can attest to that, definitely,
Thank
definitely.
you.
But I know that you are personally committed, and we
Mm,
talk a lot about your the work that you do about protecting the environment.
mm.
And I know Valley Bank shares in that vision that about protecting the environment. So that's really important. So can you talk a little and share with me about the importance of the systematic and personal changes that Valley has made?
Yes. So, I mean, so thank you so much for bringing up the environment. And in fact, Valley's new building. So, when we look at the environmental component, we're always looking at our facilities. So, our new building has some LEED certification. You can read about
Wow.
the Corporate Social Responsibility Report as well. But what's really important here, and the way I like to describe it, is that the human, environmental, and economic systems are interbeing. And that's a fact, you know? So we just need to start operating with that fact in mind. And so I think, the first place is to start with what is the reality, right? And so just some examples of that. So one of my volunteer roles is I'm privileged to chair the Trust for Public Land Advisory Board here in New Jersey. And one of the ways that we work, and it's so interesting, it's my career in community development started as a volunteer in open space, so it's so perfect. And the Trust for Public Land, really across the nation, is focused on the power of parks and, in particular, schoolyards. And so,
Mhm.
green spaces, making this connection that we're talking about, they're valuable for public health, the
Right.
cardio, stress reduction,
Mhm.
so the mental health, the physical health, and environmental health as well for communities,
Mhm.
for resilience at every level.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and then, so how do we move these changes forward? Certainly trust, and we've already talked about that this afternoon. And certainly, for someone to trust a bank, and Valley is one of the most trusted banks. Reputation is everything, and we've earned that reputation. Or an organization like the Partnership for Maternal and Child Health, that trust is so important. And one example is I know that you were able to sort of get past all the gobbledygook and whatever else was out there and get, your members vaccinated. So again, because they want to and will respond, community members will respond to people they trust. So building the trust is really important. The other aspect, and attesting to it as well, personally and professionally, is participation,
Right.
really at every level. And so the bottom up and top down, you can't say, well, they're not doing it, so I won't. Well, that's not the right
Right.
response.
Right.
Even more of a reason to do it. And so
Mhm.
I think that really speaks to how important advocacy is as well. And so even the Trust for Public Land, we're advocating for funding for community schoolyards. At the bank, we work with Housing Community Development Network of New Jersey that advocates for a number of objectives around affordable housing, including, safe renter safety and these kind of things. And then
Mhm.
for financial justice, we work New Jersey Citizen Action. So whether you're a for-profit or a nonprofit, you still want to make sure you're working with advocacy organizations that are focused, and that's where the systematic changes, right? As well, that
Mhm.
are focused, in Trenton or in DC or ready
Right.
to go there to move the agenda forward. And so
Mhm.
together, we the for-profits, the nonprofits, the civic organizations driving this positive change, the coalition building required to deliver transformative outcomes.
Mhm. This is just so excellent and so inviting and so interesting. You never think about this when you think about banking, right? Your banking relationship, that is so much more. It's really looking at the person in a holistic sense, right? Just the fact that you're talking about the land trust helps with mental well-being, being able to go out and take a walk, get off the phones, get off of the electronics to
Mhm,
really enjoy nature, bring down your high blood pressure, help with your diabetes.
mhm.
It's really a whole systematic
Mhm.
approach, which is really nice to know.
Yeah,
With that,
and
I know that, go ahead,
housing is health, and housing is health, right?
absolutely,
So,
100.
so yeah, this is all about health in that respect.
And, public health, maternal health, if
Mm-hmm.
those two don't go hand in hand,
Hello.
the society is not going to do well at all. So going back to everything that Valley does, I know that you have a very robust volunteer program through the bank.
Mhm.
So what are some of the programs that Valley is participating in that your
Okay,
staff are
great.
participating
Well,
in?
I guess I'll mention a couple because there are quite a few in our corporate social responsibility report. And so
Mhm,
one I mentioned, we started working with New Jersey Reentry. And again, it shows this sort of holistic model of, well, certainly focus as New Jersey Reentry does, empowering the formerly incarcerated to rebuild their lives. And so after incarceration, and so through educational programs, the Kickstart Healthy Habits that I mentioned, but also access to banking, and a banking relationship is so important. Again, to advance the economic goals, right? And the volunteer efforts combined, including, we've helped them out not just with some of the financial capabilities education, but also some of their food distribution and food pantry
mhm,
work. So
mhm,
again, the holistic steps required toward rehabilitation.
mhm.
And again, I mentioned our Kickstart Healthy Habits, which is really another, actually a product that we offer at New Jersey Reentry, bank uncertified, Valley Journey checking that offers safe, affordable banking for underbanked and unbanked people. So access to banking. Yeah.
And which one of them are you most proud of?
Oh, well, so I was looking at a couple of things we have coming up, right? Because I could spend all day, it's like such a big list, and each one of them is so exciting. Again, I think I mentioned I love working with the high school students. High school was so transformative for
Mhm.
me, and so whether that's through Big Brothers Big Sisters, Junior Achievement, Boys and Girls Club, but a couple of them, a couple of other programs I want to mention. Today I had a call with my CSR team. And we're going to be involved internally at the bank, working with our interns, and we have about 40 in New Jersey. So we've got a lot where we're headquartered, right in Morristown now. So we're going to be working on, so we were brainstorming ideas to connect them with the community and come up with a whole week of service across our footprint. So we're really excited. I'm excited about that and what that's going to look like. And then I'm also excited because even though I do a lot of work then, and the bank is very present in, where we find ourselves now, I think of Passaic and Essex counties as an example of some of our counties, very urban. We have some more rural counties and, making that connection with people there. So I'm excited that we have a number of programs in June. We're going to be doing in Warren County. Yes,
Mhm.
that's the country. Hackettstown, we have at our Hackettstown branch there, we're going to have an Access to Capital program on June 5th. So we're excited about that. That is in partnership with Community Lending, our Women in Business internally at the bank. And we're bringing in experts, partners from the field. And in this case, the Women's Center for Entrepreneurship, UCEDC, a community development financial institution, SBA, and of
You said
course,
UCEDC?
I know so many acronyms. UCEDC, which
Mm-hmm.
I tried to see, but I think that is there. I don't think that stands for anything right now. I think it
Okay.
originally did, but they are a CDFI. The Women's Center for Entrepreneurship might be known as, for to some, as WCEC. I tried to use the name as opposed to the acronym. CDFI being Community Development Financial Institution. Of course, the
Okay.
Small Biz SBA, Small Business Association. Here's another acronym for you. All of that's also in partnership with the Business Improvement District in Hackettstown, that is small but mighty. So I love to give them a shout out as well, advancing programs there for the small businesses in that community. And then similar to the program we're going to be offering through the partnership network,
Mhm.
we're going to be offering at the branch then in June. I think that,
Well,
let me get the date, that's June 22nd. We're going to be
mhm.
having an access to homeownership event. And again, bringing in local partners there, the Housing Partnership of Morris in New Jersey and the USDA.
Oh,
Yeah, so just give you a flavor about some of the things I'm currently planning for that success.
my last question, it doesn't have to do anything with the bank. And now that I know that you are a poet and you're very good at haikus, I'm not going to ask you to have one now,
Phew.
but if you were asked to write a book
Mm,
at this, to this point in your life, could be a book of poetry.
mm.
What would be the title and why?
Oh boy. Um, I don't know if I could answer the title. I actually would love to publish my poetry. There's no doubt about that. I guess so I don't know what I'd call it yet. Again, as I'd have to go to my journal and, check out some of the ideas, which I don't have in front of me. But I think, one of the things that I think one of the reasons that I love to be a part of these programs and teach, I teach project management part-time as well,
Mhm.
and is because I love to teach what I've learned. And so even as a project manager is a great example because project managers, have to be among some of the most emotionally intelligent people in the room. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying that I'm one, but I am saying that I am on that
Yeah.
journey to
Mhm.
learn, right, about how my thoughts and emotions impact my others, impact myself, and how to manage those, right? So it'd probably be real life examples of how that manifests. It's kind of easy to do, as they say, when you're sitting on the cushion. But what do
Yeah.
you do when you can maybe, so maybe that's it. The title will be Getting Off the Cushion, What's
Getting off the
Next?
cushion.
And how to what are those lessons learned? And just really to I guess the other thing is to help people realize that we are one. We are all one. And whether we like that or not, we are. And so let's start from that point of understanding. And what does that mean? And how do we manage that to really, you know, uh, really, I guess you could really look at it, love your neighbor. What does that really mean? Love your neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have my legacy builder Valley
Yeah.
background here, and the reason I picked this one, I love the heart, but also
Mhm.
if someone said to me, "Well, what legacy do you want to leave?" I really would love to leave a legacy of love.
Oh my goodness, Jerry, Legacy of Love, that is just so impactful. And all the work that you do and your colleagues do at Valley Bank definitely shows a legacy of love for the community to really help the community not only survive, but really thrive and live their best life. Thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you for joining us at Partnership Live. See you next time.
Cheers. Thank you so much.